recap also. Thank you very much. Wonderful recap also you gave. Maybe you should record that also. Yeah, we did cover about the Yogananda, about his book, and the time frame what he is, and we covered first six chapters up to five chapters, which
Five
are
chapters.
yeah. There is a perfume saint. We briefly went over that, and then other chapters. And today we are covering the Tiger Swami. As I mentioned before, he meets different people in his journey. From the childhood, he is seeing a lot of people, different personalities, saints and other people. So here he is describing how he met a Tiger Swami. So one day, his friend Chendi came over and he said, "Hey, there is a Tiger Swami. Can we go and see him?" And as usual, Mukunda is his Yogananda's previous name. So Mukunda was very interested and he said, "Yeah, let's go." So they go to Bhawanipur outside of Calcutta, where this saint is there whose name is like Tiger Swami. His name is Tiger Swami. However, his spiritual name I will cover later. Uh, Sohang Swami. That is the monastic name, Sohang Swami, but name came to known as a Tiger Swami. So he goes to see the Tiger Swami where when it's a huge house and a big iron circular thing which you might have seen in the old houses. So they go and knock on the door. The noise is so high. He describes it very graphically, like oh, the sound was so much to show that we are going to meet Tiger Swami. Like, uh, like all those details, he covered them. So the servant comes and takes him in, and they wait there. And here he tells that it is one of the Indian tradition that unwritten law that a true seeker needs to have patience. Master purposefully tests one's patient eagerness to meet him. That's what he says. That is where, and he also puts a joke there that this is freely employed in by doctors and dentists in the West to keep you waiting before you meet them. So in those days itself, the doctors were there like that. I don't know. Nowadays, yeah, we do wait sometimes. So, yeah. Then they go inside, and there they see the Tiger Swami with sitting on the sofa, and he is so huge. His arms were so big, and he's almost naked except the tiger skin around his waist. He was sitting there so calm, peaceful. Yet he is such a built body, big body he has. So they go and talk with him, and they says, "Oh, you do subdue Royal Bengal tigers. You fought with them." And he says, "Children, my sons, nothing to fight with the tigers. They are tigers, but for me, they are pussy cats. They are like small cats." That's what he describes. But Mukunda doesn't leave him there. He says, "Oh, you are saying they are cats, but how come you are saying cats? Even though I mentally I think they are cats, can I subdue a tiger?" See, a lot of people says if you think what you are, you can do it. He says no, you need to build your physical prowess also. A child cannot think that tiger is a small cat. I will control it. No, no way. So he says that before becoming Tiger Swami, or before he started subduing the wild tigers, he was very meek, but he built his body on purpose from the childhood, and then he goes to do that with a blow. He can subdue the tiger. That's what he says. And he says, "Look at my power," and he takes them out and punches on the wall, and brick comes out of the wall, and they can see outside. So Mukunda says, "Such a powerful fist he has. Yeah, he can do it." And then they ask him like, "Can you tell us more about yourself?" And Tiger Swami starts telling about his thing. He says, "Mind also has a muscles where you practice them to become what you want. One sentence: through pressure of instincts from the past lives, strength or weakness percolate gradually into human consciousness. So the past life also helps. See, many of the saints, many of the people says that there is a past life and that will bring current life's effects. Like we are seeing so many kids who are mastering Bhagavad Gita or entire music syllabus or Veda compositions, everything at a very tender age. I'm not sure whether you came across the young guy who born and brought up in New York. By the age of 17 or 18, he finished his electrical engineering degree. Along with that, he mastered the entire grammar of Telugu language, and he did first Ashtavadhanam from here, and then did Satavadhanam. Now he is 28 or something, but he did Shatavadhanam. But he's born and brought up in America. Along with his electrical engineering education, he mastered his Telugu prowess, where you might have known Ashtavadhanam means they can track 8 tracks in their head and answer each person differently. The same way, Satavadhanam means 100 people will be asking different questions. They will tell one line to each of them, and the turn goes 99 people ask, and then the 100th one come back. The number one will come, and he was able to tell what question he asked, what line he told in the Telugu poem, and then tells the second line and goes again. So that to tell 4 lines, it takes 400 times. Still they are tracking that. All the people. So those are the child prodigies. So here also he's telling about that. Then he tells that I subdued a lot of people, tigers, and my ego became more. Then I started showing off my power to people and become like egoistic. It's going on and on. And one time they he prods him, tell me more about it, tell me more about it. So he was little bit thinking whether to tell his story or not, but he starts sharing it, and he says one time his father came to his room and says, son, I have a warning for you. And he says, are you fatalist, daddy, father? Superstition should not be allowed to discolor the powerful waters of my activities. That's what he says. But he says, I am not a fatalist, son. I believe there is a retribution in holy scriptures. There is a resentment going in the jungle against you because of jungle family, he says. See, we are all human family, same way jungle family. There is a resentment against you that might cost you. That's what he says. But he was saying, he says, father, you astonish me. You know very well how tigers are fierce. They even they have their tummy full. If they see a prey, they are going to attack them. So that I'm like a jungle headmaster, teaching them how to behave. That's what he says. Then father says, no, there is one saint came over. I don't want to say this thing to you, but you are forcing me. There is a saint came to me yesterday when I was meditating, and he said that your son is becoming more and more belligerent. Let him cease his savage activities. Savage because he's going on purpose and showing off and catching tigers and subduing them. So he says savage activities. Otherwise, the next tiger interaction will be very costly on him, and severe wounds will be done coming to him. And after 6 months, he will become a saint. That's what 6 months of deathly sickness, and then he will become a saint. That's what the prophecy told by the saint, and he disappeared. But Tiger Swami was not in a mood to listen. The same thing, like a lot of people we see, they don't listen when the everything is flying high. They don't listen to it. So he was going on, and then one time he goes after the warning was given by his father. He goes to a place called Coach Bihar near Calcutta. I think near Calcutta only, Coach Bihar. It's a picturesque territory, and when he goes there, before him, his fame goes there and says, "This man who fights with wild tigers, he is his legs are like tree trunks," and all those talk was going on, and people came to see him and everything happening. At that time, when he was staying there, he sees hoofs of the horses coming, like galloping horses coming to his house and stopping in front of the house. And he was thinking, what's going on? And the sipais get out of the horse-drawn carriage, and they came to see him. And initially he thought somebody came to arrest him or something like that. This is all before independence. So some came to see him, but it seems they are very polite, and they come to him and say, "Sir, our king, our prince wants to see you." His prince name is, there is no prince name, but he says he wants to see him, and we will come back tomorrow, and you can be ready uh, for coming to Prince Sabha, or his court. So next day, the chariot comes, and all ornament, soldiers were with all ornaments and everything, and they take him to the royal palace on the hot-drawn carriage, with a servant holding a umbrella against the sun, and all the, so like a lot of gaudiness, a lot of respect for him. So he goes there, and the prince was right at the doorstep. He takes him in and offers his own seat, and the prince sits on a normal chair, and started questioning him that, hey, I heard that you control the tigers very well. I hope they are not opium fed tigers. That's what he says. He starts off accusing in the beginning, starting itself, saying that, are you doing like a magic, something like that. He doesn't respond, saying, the Tiger Swami doesn't respond, but he looks at him seriously. Then he says, the prince says, I will challenge you to subdue my tiger, Royal Begum, uh, Raja Begum. So here he gives a description, Raja Begum, male, female, because it has so much prowess as a tiger and tigress combined. How much prowess it has? That tiger has so much of power. The Raja Begum, can you fight? He puts three conditions, saying that if you can subdue it, let me see the three conditions: stunning the tiger, binding him with a chain, and leaving him without requiring assistance for himself. That is the three conditions he puts to the Swami. Swami says, okay, but he was thinking, God, whatever, let me do it. And he goes out, and he notices that there is no chariot, no respect, nothing. He was on the street, and he walks home. So, only for taking him, only they had all the royalties, while going nothing there. However, his father's prophecy, or prophecy heard by his father, already in the air, and everybody is saying that all the tigers combined together, they put their power into this Begum. They want to take the revenge against Swami. Like a lot of other stories flying around, and um, the day comes after 1 week. So he says that you cannot see the tiger for 1 week, because he's afraid that Swami might hypnotize or feed some opium without king's prince knowledge or something like that. But Swami comes to know about a king um, fasting that tiger, so that it will feast on this Swami's body, something like that. So basically, he's making them more and more fierce by not giving food or anything, like for 1 week. And he built a huge arena with iron cage in the middle, and everybody can sit around and watch. Uh, People from all over the surrounding villages came, and they were settling down wherever space is there, and all that stuff, like just like exhibition. Everybody was there, and this Tiger Swami goes in to that cage and shuts the door, and the tiger immediately sensed the blood, and it jumped on him, and it took his right arm, injured right arm. So he uses his left hand and starts beating it, and with the one punch, the tiger flies away from him. He puts a very good English here also, mutually ensanguined, means both of them are stained, smeared, and covered with blood. Each other's hits. Even though he has only one arm, which is useful now, right arm is not useful. He starts hitting it, and finally it subdues and lays down. And he goes and opens its mouth and puts his head inside it and takes it out. And then he looks around. There is a chain. He ties it, and he turns back to get out of the cage. But the tiger has so much fierceness in it. It broke through those chains and attacks him on the back, and so the Tiger Swami falls back and crushes it with his weight and starts hitting it, and it completely subdues. Then he ties it very tightly this time, and he comes out with all the blood and everything. Once they treat him, he was bedridden with the blood mm, infection. Something comes up, and 6 months near death experience, like near he might die. That's what people were thinking. But he recovers and he goes back home and he asks his dad, "Where is that saint?" Uh, Also, he describes that the minute he comes out of that cage, his arrogance is gone and he becomes so saintly. He doesn't want to fight anymore. That's what he says. And then he says, "I don't want Royal Begum." Prince gives a lot of gold coins to him. He takes the all of that happens. So he comes home and asks father, "Where is that saint? I want to meet him." And father says, "If you have luck, he will come back to you." And after some time, the saint comes and says, so comes to him and says, "Come with me. I will teach you to subdue the beasts of ignorance roaming in the jungles of human mind." That's what the Swami says. And he takes Tiger Swami, the saint, takes Tiger Swami to Himalayas, where he learned everything and came back and staying here. That's the past. Tiger Swami tells about his life, and Mukunda and his friend were so engrossed by all the story. His friend's name is Chendi. Both of them, they come home. That is the end of Tiger Swami. So next time, he talks about levitating saint, one who rises. I'm not sure whether you are aware of or not. Transcendental meditation has two big domes in Iowa. There, I heard that they sit for meditation, but they will be jumping like frogs in the meditation. That's what I heard before. And here again, levitating saint, he talks about this saint. Here, one of his friend, Upendra Mohan Chowdhury, comes to him and says, "Hey Mukunda, do you know the yogi there who levitates 2 3 feet above the ground?" Uh, Mukunda smiles and says, "Perhaps I can guess his name." And he says his name is Bhaduri Mahasaya, in the upper circular road. Friends face crestfallen because if we always wants to give some surprising news to other people. They know, all his friends know that Mukunda always wants to see saints and these people. So he came with a lot of enthusiasm, but Mukunda already know that person. And he starts telling about, yes, I know about him, and he's very um, saintly face and all his remarkable feats. And he says that when that saint, the levitating saint, his name is mentioned, Bhaduri Mahasaya. Bhaduri. I'm not sure. We know Madhuri, but Bhaduri Mahasaya. He says that when Bhaduri Mahasaya does Bastrika, the pranayama, he creates such a great force in the room that everybody will be thrilled to see that one. And he also mentions that this Mahasaya has practiced a lot of Patanjali's breathing techniques. That's what he says. Then he asks, how does he levitate? How does he go against the law of gravitation? The friend asks, and Mukunda explains, Yogi's body loses its grossness after use of certain pranayamas. Then it will levitate or hop about like a leaping frog. Even saints who do not practice a formal yoga have been known to levitate during a state of intense devotion to God. That's what he tells to his friend. And then he says that the saint never left house for last 20 plus years. He stays home. Maximum he goes out is to the outside. He gives exceptions very rarely during the festival time. He goes all the way to the front of his street. That's all, to give alms to the beggars and other things, because he is so generous. He wants to give donations. So when he go one time, when he from the school, Mukunda walking back home, and he sees he was at the house and he wants to go in, but Mahasaya's disciple says, "No, do you have appointment with the master?" Uh, Otherwise, in same time, the Mahasaya comes up in the balcony and says, "Let Mukunda come in." So he allows Mukunda without appointment. Mukunda goes up and sit with him for 1 hour meditation. Both of them does the meditation for 1 hour, and then saint asks him a question. You go often into silence, but have you developed the anubhava? uh, he is reminding Mukunda to love God more than meditation. Do not mistake the technique for the goal. That's what he's saying. It's a similar, like even meditation also, like we follow the breath, observe the breath. After sometimes you don't need to observe it. We leave that. I always remember one saint telling, to burn the even the dead body, we use a stick. Once everything is done, that stick also they throw into that. The same way, all the techniques we use, once we are where we are want to, the technique is not required. So that's what he's telling here. Then they ate some mangoes, and they Mukunda has such a boisterous laughter, which saint always likes that. So he tells that people in general are more fond of Jala Yoga, which is union with the drink and food, which we are all doing Jala Yoga, and than the Dhyana Yoga, which is union with God. So we are all doing Jala Yoga. So, like this, he is very funny. Also, there's that Mahasai, and he talks about it and the other things. Then he says there are letters from America asking for all this knowledge. I am educating them. It's free. See, the all our tradition is education is free. So he says this is free. I want to give it to them. They are asking a lot of questions. I correspond with a few societies there. He says what rishis is perceived is essential for human salvation need not be diluted for West. Alike in soul, though diverse in outer experience, neither West nor East will flourish if some form of disciplinary yoga be not practiced. See, disciplinary yoga has to have to practice these things. That's what it says. And Mukunda says maybe it's a premonition for me to go to US. He's referring that you don't need to dilute our yoga when you go there. This is afterthought. Like he's writing later on. That's why he says afterthought. And then he, in the evening, he talks with his disciples where they talk about Mirabai, and mm, he gives a discourse about Mirabai. And I'm not sure whether you are aware of this story or not. Everybody knows Mirabai. That's what I'm sure. Medieval Rajputni princess who abandoned everything in the quest for Krishna. She is wrote a lot of poems about ecstatic songs about Krishna also. So once one master says, I cannot see her because she is a lady. So Mirabai questioned that master, so whoever was that, and says, tell the master that I did not know there was any male in the universe save God. Are we all not females before him? This is the another concept keep repeating, that we are all Purusha means not the male we think about it. Not no. Purusha means only the God, and all of us, including all nature, is females, like female energy, and only male energy is with the God, and female energy, all of us are trying to merge with him. That's what the people tell. And here the same question Mirabai asked, and that master whoever refused to see her, uh, he becomes his her disciple. The same thing happened. Another saint from Sri Sailam also I came to read about recently. She also same questions the same. She is Akka. Mahadevi or something like that. She was stark naked and she used to roam, and one place the same thing question asked by one the saints, and she questions them, and she comes back to Sri Salem and does the penance. That's what I read. So Mirabai composed many ecstatic songs, and in this one he talks about one of the song and everything. Um, then also they talk about one thing, saying that divine order arranges our future more wisely than any insurance company. That's a beautiful statement they made. And then he says, one who gave us air and milk from our first birth knows how to provide day by day for his devotees. This is the complete surrender of a people, saying that um, everything is given by him or taken by him. Both we are not, we are like mere instruments. My favorite is Satsai Baba. He says children are not born yours, they are gods who came through us. That's all. We are caretaker of children or money. We are not the owners of any of that stuff. So that's a beautifully he says that one who gave us air and milk from our first breath knows how to provide day by day for his devotees. So he continued his school pilgrimages and everything. One day, this Mahasaya moved away from there to another place, which where devotees built a hermitage called Nagendra Mutt. He moves there. Uh, so later on, Mukunda, after many years later, he goes back to the same saint, and at that time it's a farewell for him before coming to US. And that time, the farewell speech he gives his son, go to America, take the dignity of India for your shield. Victory is written on your brow. A noble, distant people will well receive you. That's what he says to Mukunda after many years later. So that ends with the chapter 7. And next we will be reading about India's great scientist J.C. Bose. And then the blissful devotee and his cosmic romance. I think these two I can cover next time. Uh, then he will meet with his master Yukteswar. With that, I will end for today. Thank you.